Before we begin our last story today, I want to wish you a happy Women's Day in advance. But fair warning, this story may dampen said happiness. And we think it should. After all, we'll be talking about gender equality. It's obvious that we haven't achieved it yet. In fact, we probably won't achieve it for hundreds of years. And we aren't the only ones saying this.
Gender equality is growing more distant. On the current track, where Newman puts it 300 years away.
Gender equality is 300 years away. That's a long time. Let's look 300 years back to put this in perspective. It was pre-industrial revolution. The French Revolution was still making waves. The Ottoman Empire was still a thing. And so was slave trade across the Atlantic. Why do we need so much time to reach equality? Because decades of advances on women's rights are being turned back. And we don't have to look too far in history to find examples of this. Let's look at Afghanistan. We'll quote Guterres in saying that women and girls have been erased from public life. The Taliban regime has barred them from universities. They've invalidated divorces. Women who remarried are now considered adulterers. So they're on the run. In other countries, the reproductive rights that women fought for are being rolled back. Just look at the United States. The nationwide right to abortion no longer exists in that country. And you already know what's happening in Iran. It is brutally cracking down on anti-hijab protesters. Not only this, women are usually the first and the worst to be affected by conflict. The war in Ukraine is the most recent example. Only a week after the war began last year, Ukrainian foreign minister alleged numerous cases of women being raped by soldiers. And these are severe cases of inequality. Just look at your classrooms, workplace, or homes for everyday examples. The sheer discrimination will stare back at you. And if these crises weren't enough, the pandemic made things worse. It wasn't just a public health or economic crisis, it was also a crisis of discrimination. It forced millions of girls out of school and mothers out of the global workforce. About 48 million women and girls were pushed into extreme poverty. This, in addition with closed schools, meant more girl-child marriages. Globally, 13 million more child marriages are projected to take place by 2030. 13 million. There was an over 30% surge in cases of violence against women by intimate partners. And of course, unpaid work during the pandemic. It kept the world running. 70% of it was done by women. Last year, women earned an average of 82% of what men earned. I could go on and on, but you get the idea. So let's talk about the dreaded P word, patriarchy. The word has clearly lost its meaning. We blame the overuse. So we can avoid it all we want to, but it's hard at work all over the world. Maybe it's time we interrogated what patriarchy means for us. Women make up half the world. This means if women aren't involved, the world also functions at half its potential. Eliminating gender disparities is not just the right thing to do, it also goes hand in hand with financial stability. It can stimulate economic growth, boost private and public sector performance. Empowering women is smart economics. It could add $12 trillion to global growth. Let me repeat that figure. Empowering women could add $12 trillion to global growth. So what are the priorities ahead? We will reiterate something you already know: better access to healthcare and education, additional steps to support women's return to the labor force, sector-specific training, further improvements in the quality of childcare. And if these sound like a giant leap, something as basic as equitable division of household chores will help the cause. The vision is ambitious, but gradual, collective, and measured implementation can guarantee success. Because 300 years to reach gender equality is absolutely unacceptable. We again quote Guterres in saying, "The patriarchy is fighting back, but so are we."